This is Nifty Culture. I'm Pio. I'm here with my partner, Malachi. What's going on, Malachi?
It's been a crazy weekend. How's everything going on your end?
It's going well. I want to talk about Mr. Sean Carter, Mr. Jay-Z, changing his avatar on Twitter to a CryptoPunk that I think he decided, fits what he wants his likeness to be in the CryptoPunk world. So how big of news is this in the NFT space, and what does it mean to you?
So for me, I thought the NFT season was ending. I thought we're going to go into summer. People are going to get distracted. We're going to have a cool off, too many projects, just like in March with Nifty Gateway. And then out of nowhere, you see Beyonce's husband buy a CryptoPunk and put it on their Twitter handle. I think this is a test. He's not active on Twitter, but he clearly went and made this purchase at the end of April, or his team did. So this has been well in the making. He does have NFTs for sale for the first time, so there's some of that association. So when you look at just those pieces, you say, okay, smart businessman doing smart businessman things. Now I think of the Diamonds of Sierra Leone remix. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. But when you add in everything else, I think this could be really the most underappreciated sign about where NFTs are going over the next 6 months. You see LaMelo Ball with the drop, with utility, and really embracing this and understanding the community. You see Snoop Dogg getting an ape. LaMelo has an ape. You see just this general excitement from pop culture. And what we need for NFTs to kind of pass from this fringe, crypto bro mindset into mass media is pop culture icons really embracing it. Paris Hilton was early. Before that, there was Soulja Boy and Lindsay Lohan. So for me, the fact that Jay-Z's doing this means that this is about to change the culture. This is why we actually created NFT culture, is because we believed that at some point in the future, everything will be an NFT, from Fortnite to Pokemon to everything else. And so when I think about this, and I think about the possibility, Jay-Z used to rap about passing that art down to his children. It was worth 1, now it's worth 2, now it's worth 8. Can't wait to see. I'm paraphrasing the lyrics. When you see people like Jay-Z doing this, and then think about once songs start rapping about NFTs, people talk about NFTs in music, it's going to go parabolic. And so all my guesses about where we were going to head are gone. It's crazy.
For sure. And, I'm actually not surprised now that it's happened, because, like you said, Jay-Z's always efficient in business. He's always very early in business. He has a flawless track record of the things that he's done. First, he did clothing, right? He kind of set the standard for musicians having their own clothing brand with Rockaware. And then there's just, too many business ventures to name. Tidal, all these different escapades in business that he was successful with. But also, I find that he talks about art and fine art a lot, not only in his music, but also in other media. He wrote a book 10 years ago. I don't remember what the book's called, but I read it, and he had a whole section of the book about Basquiat, because Basquiat was active in New York at the same time that he was just getting started with rapping. And, it's just fascinating to me. He's always been about art. A lot of people probably don't know that don't follow Jay-Z's career closely, or people that are still in the school of thought that hip hop isn't high art, for example. But Jay-Z definitely understands how artistic the work is that he creates, and just what kind of goes into that, and the people that he surrounds himself with as great artists. And he also understands the traditional art world. He talks about Warhol and Basquiat and Picasso in his songs. If you start paying attention in Jay-Z songs, there's a lot of lyrics of the fine artists, and he definitely looks at himself as one of those fine artists. So I'm assuming that once CryptoPunks ended up in Sotheby's for the auction, once he saw the traditional auction houses auctioning off NFTs, that probably was like the nail in the coffin for him being, fully interested in NFTs. And then lo and behold, he bought a CryptoPunk and made it his Twitter avatar. I just want to know what, his fans that have no connection to NFTs think of this and how much they're scratching their heads right now,
Yeah, I mean, this will be and I alluded to it and I didn't really go into the detail, was if he makes this his Instagram profile, for instance, we're reaching new heights. And I also think you hit on something that I'd love to go into more detail on in a future video, but when you think about hip hop and rap and high art, and you think about Kendrick Lamar winning the Pulitzer in 2018 and all of these, like, people just need to, we're in a new generation. There's so much excitement. The fact that, a piece by Jay-Z is going to be a Pulitzer as well, or not Pulitzer, but in Sotheby's as well, is really, really exciting to see.
Yeah, no question, man. This is really cool. I didn't know about this, that Jay-Z commissioned a piece by Derek Adams and it's going to be auctioned as an NFT. So he's absolutely just getting right on into this, just diving in head first. And I think we're going to see more and more of this from other notable people like him. It's a really exciting time in the space for sure. I think Malachi was alluding to the idea that, we were entering a bear season with NFTs. And I think that, some of the NFTs that were bought at the peak in March, it's going to be really hard for them to recover in value. But that doesn't change that new money is coming into the space, and the iconic pieces, the 1% or the 1% of the 1% are going to skyrocket. They're going to have long-term value, and the space is going to continue to grow. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's and you're absolutely right. People think just because I buy it, it's valuable. And this is going to be a hard lesson for artists to realize. We talk to a lot of artists and they're really angry with Nifty Culture for covering the collectibles. They're angry with everyone for collecting collectibles. And the fact is that we have to, because we want to be objective in how we're, looking at the market. But the artists that are being less successful don't realize that there's so many artists coming in. There's way more supply than demand. And just because you create art on the blockchain doesn't mean that it's going to be valuable and have future value. And that's critical, and it's mean, but it's a fact. And so people need to work twice as hard. They need to understand that, everything isn't valuable because it's an NFT. And even the things that you do buy on the curated marketplaces aren't necessarily going to hold long-term value. So always look at this from the lens of buy art you love. If you were to go into a real physical gallery and look at art, you would buy art that resonates with you, not hoping that 20 years from now, somehow this person dies or becomes famous and now that art is valuable. You would want it because it looks good on your wall. And so people need to look at NFTs in the same way, and then they won't get burned.
For sure. I'll make a prediction. I think that Jay-Z is going to go all out on this, and I think that he will put out another album. This will kind of give him, it'll reinvigorate him when it comes to music, because, I don't think he was that inspired to do any new music over maybe the last 5 years. I know he put out that one album, and there was inspiration behind that album, and it's a good album, no question. But I think for someone like him, that's at his level, he needs like real inspiration to put out, and this might give him that inspiration, and there might be a bunch of NFT related incentives. I think you're going to see like a Gary V level, LaMelo Ball level complexity in his next release, the next Jay-Z release that includes NFTs, and I think it's going to make a really big splash. What do you think?
100%. I don't know if he'll do an album, but I bet he at least starts doing some more, guest appearances on songs and starts, putting some NFTs in there. He's also, a killer businessman. I would not be surprised if he creates his own NFT marketplace. One of the things that you and I have talked about quite a bit is that there is underrepresentation in the NFT market. We actively are trying to find artists to interview and engage with, and really add as much diversity as possible. It's not something that we haven't thought of. We're really looking to do a better job at that, and I think the community needs to too. I think Jay-Z is the perfect person to come in and create, and think about it just from the perspective, if he has an NFT marketplace he wants to pump and he raps about it, that's the freest advertising for that marketplace he can get. And if that marketplace does focus on some of the issues that we have, with culture and society, it's a win-win. I hope he does it. It would be great for communities. It would be great for representation. It would be great for everything. So my fingers are crossed that this isn't just he spent 50 grand to pump a Sotheby's auction, and he's taking this seriously, and this is the future of NFTs. That would be awesome.
I think he's taking it seriously. I think it's pretty unlikely that he'd be doing something short-sighted. And I also think that's why it took him so long to get fully involved. Like, he had to see, is this thing for real? And I think it's pretty clear that it is.
So long, right? It's right at the beginning, but for us, it feels like, why is he so late to the party? No one else has heard of it.
Yeah, and he's still earlier than like 99% of people in media and entertainment. So I bet all the people at record labels are scratching their heads right now. They just have no idea. This is probably the last nail in the coffin for record labels and traditional entertainment industry stuff too. So that'll be interesting, but we'll continue to cover it. Make sure you guys subscribe to Nifty Culture, follow Nifty Culture on Twitter. That's at NFT Culture. Follow me and Malachi on Twitter. We'll post all the links in the description. And thank you guys so much for watching. Malachi, catch you next time, man.